Alright guys, so welcome to Orders Operations today. Right now I want you to take out your math composition book or math journal, label it Orders Operation, and then we're going to practice our whisk. Remember that whisk stands for W, is for watch, so watch the video, pause it, rewind it, do whatever you want to understand what I'm trying to show you. The S stands for summarizing. As soon as you finish watching the video, I want you to summarize what you watch. Remember to be detailed. Give examples, work out the examples, write down the examples, show the solution, and then the last one is the questions. I want you to write any questions you have about today about orders operations, any questions that you feel like I can help you in class, or any questions to make the lesson better. So let's begin. This is the traditional route for orders operation. Most of you know it as PEMDAS, where it's just straight up parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. But the most important is multiplication and division is left to right, whatever comes first in the expression. And then you move on to addition and subtraction, whatever comes first in the expression. But really, this is how I want you to organize. I want you to put this in your notes right now. The orders of operations triangle. It's just like the triangle that we do with multiplying, dividing, positive and negative integers. But forget PEMDAS. Most students get kind of confused when it comes to multiplying, dividing, which one comes first, and then adding, subtracting, whichever comes first. So seriously, forget it. I want you to copy this triangle down because we're going to be working with this triangle going top to bottom on this triangle. So the first thing we're going to do is grouping symbols. Instead of parentheses, we're going to be working with grouping symbols because as we get higher in math, we're going to move away from just the traditional parentheses, and then we're going to move into brackets, and then we'll also add braces. And those are all forms of grouping symbols. So parentheses is a grouping symbols. Remember that exponents is anything that has a base and then a power, and then multiplying and dividing left to right, whichever comes first, and then move on to adding, subtracting. So this triangle is really moving downwards. Okay, and then when we start solving an equation, we'll talk about how to reverse the triangle. So here's our first example. Which operation would you do first? That should be always the question that you ask yourself. So in this case, I have 6, positive 6, minus 3, plus 1. So if you, to draw your triangle, sorry, Mr. Win, let me restart that. So if you draw your triangle, oh, alright, so this is our first example. We have 6 minus 3 plus 1. The first question I always want you to ask yourself is which operation would I do first? So the first operation that I would do first, if you go back to your notes and you look in your triangle, you'll see that it says grouping symbols. So in this case, there's no parentheses, so I'm not going to do the parentheses. As you move down the triangle, you'll see that there is exponents. Obviously, there's no exponents, and then it's multiplying, dividing. There's no multiplying, dividing. So the next thing I have is adding and subtracting. Well, this one has both, so you need to do whichever comes first. So I need to just right here, I'm going to subtract, then add. So in this case, I can technically put parentheses around this, and that lets me know I need to do that first. So 6 minus 3 is equal to 3. Add 1. So the final solution for this one is positive 4. Here's another example. I have 12 divided by 4 times 2. Again, first question you ask yourself, which operation do I do first? So you go to your triangle, there's no parentheses, so I'm going to let that one go. No exponents, so I'm going to skip that one, and then it's multiplying, dividing. So if you look at this expression, there is dividing and multiplying, or vice versa. So you need to decide which one you do first. Remember that multiplying and dividing are equal. You do whichever comes first. So in this case, division comes first because it's left to right, so I'm going to divide before multiply. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and put parentheses on here so you can see that I need to do that first. So 12 divided by 4 is equal to 3. I'm going to drop my multiplication symbol, drop my second number, and I get 3 times 2. My final solution to 12 divided by 4 times 2 is equal to positive 6. Again, if you have any questions, just pause it, go back to the previous slide, look at your notes, look at the examples, and look how I worked out the problem. Here's this. This is a little bit more complicated. This one says 5 times, in parentheses, 3 minus 7 plus 15 divided by 3. I went ahead and drew the triangle in this one in case you didn't want to look at your notes. So the first step, I already wrote it out, but the first step you need to do, always ask yourself, what's the first thing I need to do? So yes, there's grouping symbols. In this case, it's parentheses. So the first thing I need to do is do the 3 minus 7. I know that positive 3 minus 7 is equal to 4. Remember, think about it in terms of money or a number line. So the first thing I need to do is that equals to negative 4. So my parentheses is over. And cross that out. I'm going to go ahead and drop everything that I did not mess with. So if you look closely, I dropped the 5, I dropped the multiplication symbol, I dropped the positive 15, I dropped the divided by 3. Next, I'm going to run through my triangle over here. I do not have exponents, so I'm going to let that one go. Next, I'm going to multiply. I can clearly see there's a multiplication right here, and then also divide right here. In this case, multiply comes first, so I'm going to do that first. So I have, next step is to multiply positive 5 right here, positive 5 with negative 4, drop that, that's going to give me negative 20, and then this is gone. This becomes negative 20, and then I'm going to drop everything that I can drop down. So my next one, if you look at it right now, I have negative 20 increased by 15 divided by 3. So I'm going back to my triangle. I've already finished multiplication part, so what's left in this expression is the division. So that's what I need to do next. So what I need to do next is the divide by 15 divided by 3. In this case, it's positive 15. So I want you to watch how I do this. Let me switch to the pen tool. So from here, 15 divided by 3 is 5. So right now, this is all I have left. And if you look, that's the last thing in the triangle. Negative 20 plus 5 is equal to negative 15. Again, pause it and look how I just did this. Okay. So the first thing I did, simple. I did the grouping symbols, in this case the parentheses. Dropped everything down, crossed that out because I already finished it. So just keep watching it. And then next, drop everything down. Again, I get negative 20 plus 15 divided by 3, and then I finally get the simple expression of negative 20 plus 5, which will give me negative 15. Okay. So I want you to do this by yourself before I start doing it. Go ahead. You can pause the video, or you can, and then when you're ready to check your answer, just hit play, or you can just go ahead and watch me do it right now. But the first thing I need to do in this case is, this one's a little tricky. If you look in my triangle, oops, let me just draw a better triangle. In my triangle, the first thing I have in the top of the triangle, you should have in your notes, is grouping symbols. So I have grouping symbols. So I need to do that first. But if you look at my grouping symbols right here, it says 12 minus 3, and then there's a little square in the right-hand corner. Well, that's the next level of my triangle. That's the exponents. So what I need to do first is 12 minus 3 squared. So in other words, I need to just write it. 12 minus 3 squared is 9. So that's my first step. Okay. So that's what I just did, 12 minus 9. And then, well, continue to do your orders of operation. My parentheses right here, basically my parentheses says that, hey, 12 minus 9 is equal to 3, and then I drop everything down. So I have 15 minus 3 plus 2 times 5 divided by 2. If you look at my triangle, I already did the parentheses, I already did the exponent, so what's next is multiply, dividing. It's whatever is left to right, so I can clearly see right here that says 2 times 5 divided by 10. Well, 2 times 5 comes before divided by 2. So I'm going to go ahead and say, oh, that's 2 times 5 is 10. And then I'm going to drop everything down, and that's what I have. And then next, I already did the multiplication, but there's a division, so I'm going to go ahead and do that one. So 10 divided by 2 is equal to 5. I'm slowly breaking it down into simplifying my expression. And then that's what I have. And then lastly, in my triangle, I have adding and subtracting. So I'm just going to do it left to right. 15 minus 3, that's equal to 12. 12 plus 5. This whole thing should equal 17. Let's double check. 12 plus 5. My final solution is 17. Sorry, the one got cut off. So, but you can clearly see right here that 12 plus 5 is 17. Okay. So again, pause this if you want to see me do it over, rework it, try it, maybe make up your own in the question section. So now the last 2 slides I'm going to show you is the distributive property. We kind of worked on this already, so showing you how to quickly multiply the single digits with double digits. So example, the distributive property basically means I'm going to break something apart and multiply and then add. So when you have 9 times 14, remember that when you have parentheses with a number and then a number on the outside, it basically means multiply. So I want you to think about it this way. 9 times, well, how can you quickly break up 14 into manageable numbers? Well, first 2 numbers come to my head is 10 plus 4. Because 10 plus 4 does equal 14. So what I want you to do now is watch. I'm going to take this 9, I'm going to multiply with that 10. And then I'm going to take this 9, I'm going to multiply, I'm going to drop the operator right there. And then I'm going to take the 9 times the 4. So then I know that 9 times 10 is 90, plus 9 times 4 is 36. And I know that 90 plus 36 is 126. So 9 times 14 is equal to 126. I know it's a little bit long to do it this way, but the more you do this, the faster you're going to be at it. Okay? Oops. Let's try another one. I want you to quickly find, using the distributive property, multiply 7 with 59. Okay, so how can I quickly do this? Well, 7 times 59. 2 numbers that quickly come to my head for 59 is 50 plus 9. 50 plus 9 is the same as 59. So I'm going to multiply the 7 with the 50. I'm just going to go ahead and write it out for you. And then I'm going to take the set, drop my operator right here, plus, and then 7 times 9. And then what I'm going to do now is I know that 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 50 is 350. Plus, I know that 7 times 9 is 63. And then quickly add it together. You can just do it over here if you want longhand for right now. So 7 times 59 is 413. Yes, I know I can go 59 times 7 like the old school way like this. But the more we do this, the faster you're going to be able to multiply single digits with double digits in your head. And then when we get to variables, it's going to make a lot more sense. So that's all I really have for today. So today we went over orders operation and the distributive property. Please rewind the video. Please pause it if you need help. And then right now I want you to summarize what we just did and then write down a couple questions that you will have for me tomorrow in class. And then tomorrow during the start, I'm going to go around, look at your whisk list, and then give you class points for it. Okay? Thanks, guys.